આવી ગયા છે અને ટીના સાથે અને હમણાં વાતોચીતો કરશું અને ટીના is the CEO of the charity Retina UK. So let's welcome Tina. Good morning, Tina. Thank you for coming online.
Oh, good morning. Lovely to speak to you today.
Yeah, okay. As I said, we are very privileged to have you on our radio show today this morning. And we will also have Bhavini on the lines shortly. But in the meantime, can you tell us what actually Retina UK is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, thank you so much for having me on this very lovely and sunny morning. Retina UK is the only UK charity that's dedicated solely to working for and with people who are affected by inherited sight loss. There's about 1 in 3,000, 1 in 4,000 people in the UK who live with these rare conditions. They cause progressive sight loss and can often lead to blindness. We do we work with our community, offering information and support. We also have a helpline, and we are also figure quite largely in pushing for treatment for these conditions. Only very recently have we had our first treatment come through the system, and that will treat probably around 100 people in the UK, so we've got a long way to go.
Okay, so basically Retina UK is UK based, and
Yes.
you actually support people who have got this problem with the eyes,
Yes.
and mostly people like Bhavini who have partial blindness, but who are actually progressing with their life, and as if there is a day-to-day business of living and getting used to this.
Absolutely. So about 45 years ago, our founder, a lady called Linda Cantor, got a diagnosis of a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, which sits within this group of conditions. And she was absolutely stunned that there was nothing out there. There was no other, we could barely find any other people with the same condition. There was no research. So she created the first iteration of Retina UK. A very important part of what we do is we work with our community. So people like Bhavini, amazing people who seemingly, and it cannot be effortless, seem to go through life, keep on pushing. We take all of their strengths and we support and be a voice for our community. Bhavini and about 30 people in a similar position actually man our helpline. So if you are listening and you think that you might have something that is causing progressive sight loss, or you know you have progressive sight loss, please ring our helpline. They are all people who are in exactly the same situation, and they'll be able to talk to you and if appropriate, signpost you to the correct people. So we're here. We are our community. They are my boss.
Okay.
And that's just the way I like it.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, if you have a number to give out to our listeners, that would be great help.
Great. So the number is 0300 111 4000. But if you go to our website, which is retinauk.org.uk, all the information is there.
Okay, so it's 0300 111 111 4000.
Yeah. That's correct.
Okay, and what time are they open?
So if you ring through, we now have more than one line. We are open till 9 o'clock at night. But if you do ring and you get the answer phone, there's also an email you can find on our website, which is retinauk.org.uk. And if you click through, somebody will leave a message. Somebody will come back to you. Same goes for all of our social media channels. So we're on Facebook, Twitter. If you want someone to get in touch with you, please get in touch, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Okay, that's wonderful, Tina. One more thing I would like to ask you, which somebody just texted over to me, is this retina issues, right? Pigmosa issues. Are they basically more affected to the BME people, or is it for and doesn't matter who you are?
Well, what we found is 45 years ago, it was barely known to be inherited as a group of conditions. And to be honest, most conditions, if you take cystic fibrosis, there's several genes that have a defect on them that cause that condition. we at the moment have identified over 260 different gene defects that cause this group of conditions. So it is everywhere. It is rare. But actually, when you start putting all of the different genetic defects that cause progressive sight loss together, it isn't a small amount of people. So it affects everybody. So in a BME situation or anybody's family situation, you might find that the same genetic defect flows all the way through a family. So especially if there's dominant genetic defects and less dominant genetic defects, and obviously that affects the pattern within a family. But what we would like to say is, that there are different cultural challenges, even through the globe. We find this, and please get in touch because we have people who are familiar with your personal situation, and we can help you in your day-to-day living. We can let you know what is available out there, and also inform and educate any family on the genetic diagnosis and counselling process, which can be extremely important in understanding your condition and what treatments may or may not be in the pipeline. So please do get in touch.
Okay, thank you, Tina. One more thing I'd like to ask. Mm-hmm. When actually the partial degeneration of the sight, mm-hmm. is this very progressive, or does it actually just like a switch? 1 minute, okay, the next minute, you got this issue.
So it's like a fingerprint. It's entirely individual. So there are some extremely aggressive conditions where children can lose their sight before they're 6 months, a year old, and there are also less aggressive strains and genetic defects that actually mean that you only lose part of your sight as you grow older. It can be there are external factors. We don't know what part they play in it, but it is a very individual thing. But the challenge with progressive sight loss that seems to be lost when speaking to the general public is that actually as you lose your sight slowly, it's coming, so you're constantly mentally preparing, you're constantly practically preparing, and then you're preparing for the next dip in your vision. We found that a great number of the people in the community lose their night vision, and then what happens is that your vision narrows, the field of vision narrows. But it can take different forms. So it's as individual as you are, but the genetic defect that you have and how that behaves can give you a prognosis that you will lose a lot of your sight a lot earlier than other genetic defects.
That's wonderful, Tina. I know you're very tight with your schedules and hours. So on behalf of the NuSound Radio, I'd like to thank you so much, and we are privileged to have you on our show, and of course taking your time, or precious time, to come on our show. Thank you very much, Tina.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, thank you, Tina. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, Tina, she is the CEO of the charity Retina UK. હવે આના પછી આપણે આ સાથે હમણાં પ્રોગ્રામમાં આવશે આપણે ભાવિની મકવાના, એની સાથે પણ હમણાં વાત કરશું. પણ એની પહેલા એક નાની એવી કમર્શિયલ બ્રેક ઉપર આવી ગયા છે ભાવિની મકવાના. ચાલો એની સાથે આપણે વાતોચીતો કરીએ. જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ ભાવિની, કેમ છે?
જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ કાંજીભાઈ, સારું છે, મજામાં છે.
Thank you very much for coming online and of course talking to us. And we had the CEO of Retina UK just now. અને એને આપણે બધી માહિતી આપી છે. આપણે જે રેટિના UK, જે તમારે પિગ્મોસા કહે છે ને, પિગમેન્ટોસા, રાઈટ? તો એ ઇશ્યુ તમને છે, રાઈટ? તો એના વિશે આપણે થોડીક વાતોચીતો કરીએ. ઓકે, પહેલા તો એ કહેવાનું કે આ જે I would call it an illness. Would you call it an illness or?
It's a disease. It's
disease.
Yeah.
Okay. So જરાક થોડીક માહિતી આપણા, if you can either speak in Gujarati or if whatever you feel comfortable, you can speak or English or Gujarati. કે આપણા લાખો ભાઈઓ બહેનો ત્યાં આપણને સાંભળે છે. If you can tell them what it is and what actually happens, because you have actually got it.
એટલે હું 17 વર્ષની હતી ત્યારે હું બારે ચાલતી, મને આજે કેટલો ફાઇન તડકો છે, પણ મને જરાય ના ગમતું, બીકોઝ મને સાવ ફોગી કે હેઝી દેખાતું, મને જરાય everything was blurry, કે અંધારામાં હું કે વિન્ટરમાં ડાર્ક થઈ ગયું હોય વહેલું 4-5 વાગે, મને દેખાતું નહીં. Like car lights કે શોપની લાઇટ્સ હોય તો it wasn't enough, કે હું આગળ આમ સીધું જોતી હોય, મારા સાઈડમાં ઉપરથી gyro tree branch के हुए मनी के ना देखा तो के flow में के हुए तो आस्ते आस्ते my tunnel no vision बंद था तो क्या पर सीधू जोए यहाँ पे side में के ऊपर के नीचे ये आस्ते आस्ते बंद था तो तुम्हारो tunnel तो बच्ची optician में गए बच्ची they referred me to an eye hospital ત્યારે હું લેસ્ટરમાંથી and then after testing it was confirmed that I had retinitis pigmentosa ત્યારે તો મેં કંઈ સાંભળ્યું નહોતું મને બીજું કોઈ ખબર નથી like કોકને આંખનો કંઈ problem હતો કે કંઈ નહીં it was just a complete shock but there was nothing ત્યારે almost 20 વર્ષ પહેલા there was nothing no treatment no cure કે કંઈ નહોતું તો ડૉક્ટરે ખાલી એમ કહી દીધું હા એક દિવસ તારી vision completely વહી જશે but there's nothing we can do so that's it complete shock my parents માટે because all લોકોએ કંઈ સાંભળ્યું નહોતું ને ટીનાએ જેમ કીધું genetic counseling એ તો મને ક્યારે 5 વર્ષ પહેલા જ ખબર પડી પહેલા તો એવું કંઈ હતું નહીં so we've traced back my parents side my mom's side my dad's side their generation પણ કંઈ history એ નથી એટલે આ genetic disorder છે આંખનો પણ it can skip generations and obviously પહેલા તો આપણા પિતૃ કે હવે તો કંઈ આપણને ખબર ના પડે એટલે મારા ફેમિલીમાં હું ખાલી એક જ છું
Okay. So Bhavini આ જે તકલીફ જે છે right so you found out when you were 17 years old and atyare would you like to share your age what age you are at the moment
yeah હું આ વર્ષે 40 થઈ
okay so you have had this disease for I would say 13 years or more
so I was diagnosed 17 about
23 years. 23 years so you had with it so apart from the sightness physical body there's no other effect on you and I'm so glad to hear that you actually go to work and you have a wonderful dog who actually takes you to all the different places and you also have 2 wonderful children and you also have a very dedicated person and a patient person, your husband, Paresh, who actually looks after you very well. So, apart from, I know this is a major issue that, once the eyes have some sort of defect, some people actually are mostly give up. But knowing you for so long and I've interviewed you a few times, and the charity work you do and the awareness programs you have for people who might have this illness એના માટે તમે બહુ જ કોશિશ કરી છે કે આપણા ભાઈઓ બહેનોને ખબર પડે કે આ શું છે અને નોટ ઓન્લી શું છે પણ એ લોકોને મદદ મળે એના માટે તમે અવેરનેસ પ્રોગ્રામ ઘણા રાખ્યા છે અને હમણાં પણ તમારું આર્ટિકલ ફીચર થયું છે one of the newspapers okay so I would like to thank you very much. Okay, you're making people aware. So one more thing or 2 more things we can talk about. કે આવી કઈ problem થઈ જાય, right? So people think that is the end of it. Like you were saying, you sort of like said the optician said eventually you're going to lose your sight. But you haven't lost your sight. It's only partial. But the partialness, as you say, is it does affect you. Barabar? Yeah. So can you? I know you already described it, but if people are initial stages upar hoy, so what would they actually feel or say?
So at the beginning, આમ દેખાય પણ આપણે આમ સીધું આપણે ટેબલ ઉપર આપણે જમવા બેઠા હોય ને આપણે કદાચ ગ્લાસ હોય ગ્લાસ કદાચ તમને મિસ થઈ જાય but you can see something past it because આપણો ગ્લાસ હોય ક્લિયર હોય એટલે camouflage કદાચ કંઈ થઈ ગયું હોય એવી રીતે મિસ્ટેક કદાચ થઈ જાય કે આપણે સીડી ઉપર કે સ્ટેપ્સ બાળે હોય કે કંઈ અત્યારે તો આપણે જોઈ you see markings on the step like either yellow strip હોય કે આપણે crossingમાં ઓલા red bumpons હોય કે ટ્રેન સ્ટેશનમાં સ્ટેપ્સ હોય ઓલા સ્ટ્રીપ્સ હોય એ આપણે જે પીપલને દેખાતું ના હોય ને ગાઈડ ડોગ્સ માટે આપણે વ્હાઇટ કેન જે યુઝ કરતા હોય એ અડીને you can feel with your feet તો આપણે સ્ટેપ્સ આવે છે પણ ઈ ના હોય તો સ્ટેપ્સ આપણને ખબર ના પડે આવવાની છે કે કેટલી છે આપણું ડેપ્થ પરસેપ્શન કદાચ આપણે સ્ટેપ કે સીડી આપણને પગ નીચે મૂકવો હોય you can't actually tell કેટલો deep that step is. કદાચ કે આપણે રસ્તામાં કે road works કે કદાચ હોય નટલો bright day હોય you might miss the signs કદાચ like yellow cones કદાચ મૂક્યા હોય કે it's different things ke jaru ke way like a tree and you might miss that and you might bump into things like that ke apne shopping karwa gaya hoy na apne darwajo gotta hoy shop no e kadach na male because everything just looks the same but each and aste eta tomaro vision chai etle atyare all I see is just light and dark atyare mane khabar tolko che but I can't see faces hoy etle aste like ape book ke newspaper vachu hoy I can't see print. I rely on my technology, my phone and my laptop speak to me. A message type karo, my laptop speaks. Dictation use karo. So I can't write pen on paper. Note shopping list lucky way. Mara phone ma bolu. Laptop ma laku. I've got 2 daughters, and it makes me quite sad. I can't see their faces. Detail. Makeup racket pay way. I can't see the color, design, but when I feel, like, I need to touch. That's quite important to me. And like Tina mentioned, like, there's 3 types of condition. There's auto-recessive, auto-dominant, and X-link. And obviously is too much detail to go into, but depending on the type you have. Eyesight vejai, complete darkness ma. That's common in X-link. Maru, nearly 20 years, 23 years, aste you, or, it could be like Tamaru Tolukuj Vijay, and that's how it will stay. So there's many different, depending on the genetics, but, I've done my genetic testing there, there's not much they can do with it. But I would encourage that, first signs way that Tamara acne problem chair, please do reach out, please do call the charity, because that's how it helped me. I rang the helpline, but support groups, peer groups, how they do cooking. Mommy dedicate how they look after their children and bring them up. Like how anyone does any normal things, but our eyesight and it is possible. But खबर ना हुई के रीते पर आप reach out करे बिचा साथे openly talk करे कि बिचा पास थी आप information ले त्यारे कुछ आप idea मल्ले ना आप करी सके.
That's wonderful to hear that from you, Bhavini, and you and your family are doing a wonderful job to make people aware. And what you are going through, you still have time to dedicate the work for the charity and making people aware of this dreadful illness. But due credit, and we salute you for what you...
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For what you are doing for the wider community. And on behalf of the NuSound Radio, unfortunately we are running out of time, Bhavini, but I'm sure we will grasp another opportunity and we probably have a longer discussion and of this dreadful disease which you have, but you are making life as normal as you can. Yeah. So thank you very much, Bhavini. And once again, thank you on behalf of the NuSound Radio and taking time out to be with us.
No problem. Can I just quickly share, the charity had an appeal, and I would really strongly encourage our listeners, please, website Retina UK Namajajo, watch the appeal and just please try and support if you can. That would be much appreciated from the whole team.
Okay, if you have the website address, then we can share it with our listeners now.
Yeah, it's just www.retinauk.org.
Task they are doing for the community, wider community, doesn't matter whether you're black, white or green, but they are doing it for the community. So thank you. I take my hat off to you, Bhavini. ચાલો આપણો પ્રોગ્રામ હમણાં પૂરો થવાનો છે તો એની પહેલા એક નાનું એવું કમર્શિયલ બ્રેક લઈ લઈએ, ત્યાર પછી એક આપણે ગીત સાંભળશું.